Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and today's video I'm finally getting around to reviewing the Black Ops 4 beta. The beta has been done and over with for a couple of days now, and I feel like I have gathered my thoughts enough to be able to make a proper review of what went down in the beta, so that way when the game fully releases in October, the game will be polished and smooth running. And we also still have the Blackout beta, so I'm going to be probably making a review of that too as well, but right now we're just going to be strictly just talking about just the multiplayer. And we're going to be just talking about everything in depth, my concerns, even some things I liked, because I don't want this review to necessarily be all negative, but I do want to give proper criticism so that way the game can be improved where it needs to be. So let's talk about, just to get them out of the way, the things that I need to see be improved for me to personally enjoy the game. Like, keep in mind your guys' opinions may be different than mine, but this is what I think needs to be changed with the beta. First, the score streaks need a severe buff. The maps were really like bulky and had a lot of buildings, and they flowed well despite that, but it made it impossible for streaks to go in. The streaks, not only do they have, a whole bunch of buildings to worry about, but in general their coding, I don't know what the deal is with the streaks this time around. I've never seen Treyarch streaks do this bad. But like, it's concerning to see that like even the streaks don't even know how to like properly traverse the map, because I've watched like clips, especially by like Thunder, where his strike team will not even be able to run through a door. It'll just run straight into a wall and then just keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and it's just like, why is that even a thing? The game has been in development for so long, and even some of these things have been reused. Like, these assets, like, I think they're reused, because keep in mind that a lot of these streaks are from previous CODs, so I don't know why it's difficult to get the, the coding to work. Maybe it was just probably a mess up, but in general, the streaks, they need a severe tweak. Buff them if you have to until they're like completely borderline OP, but I would rather have OP streaks than useless streaks, because otherwise it's just not worth going for, you know what I mean? Because a streak is supposed to get you kills. It was originally called a score streak, for a reason. It was called a score streak because it was going to get you kills, and it was especially called a kill streak because it was going to get you kills. I don't want to get 13 kills just to watch pixels move, I want to do something, so please buff the streaks, Treyarch, or at least like figure out some way to make, because I know that Sledgehammer's done this before with like Aachen in World War II, but like change the maps maybe just a little bit so that way the streaks have more open spots to kill people, because building after building after building makes the maps only rely on gunplay. And I get you were trying to sort of go for like an Overwatch style game, so that's probably why the maps were made this way. But, I'm playing COD, I'm not playing Overwatch, so I want the streaks to go in. So please buff the streaks and make the maps fit the streaks. The second thing that I want to see changed is the body armor. Now, I know that a lot of people have been preaching, to Jesus himself about the body armor, and I agree. Originally, I was like, what's so bad about the body armor? You have the, armor-piercing rounds, it just contradicts it. But the thing is, though, the way that COD players play, it just didn't work out. It was a good idea in hindsight, but it just doesn't work out, because people either only run body armor or stim. Nobody uses things like the, the Sixth Sense beacon or whatever, or the Hardline beacon or whatever that is. I don't even remember because I don't even use it. But, yeah, like, literally the only two pieces of equipment that gets used is stim and body armor. So, like, you need to either pick one or the other, otherwise you're going to get destroyed by picking any of the other off ones. And I really would just like to see body armor be removed. I am finally agreeing with everybody and saying it should be removed. I originally just thought it should be nerfed. But then again, though, people just not use it. I'm tired of having things in the game that are just useless, such as like the, the Team Link perk that was in this game, at least in the beta. It was completely useless. They're buffing it for the full game, but like in the beta, it was useless. That's an example of a useless item. And that's the one thing with COD, is that they either extremely nerf something towards useless, or they buff it, or it just naturally is OP, and then everyone uses it. They need to find like a middle ground where people will use it, but not all the time, you know what I mean? And that's the thing with armor. Armor acts a lot like Juggernaut. Juggernaut was in COD 4 and World War II's, I guess you could say, bonus mode, and then World at War. And technically MWR, we're just going to count that as COD 4. So COD 4 will just count that and MWR in the same place, but COD 4 and MWR, World War II, if you played the throwback mode, and then World at War, all those had Juggernaut. And the things with all those modes and all those games is that Juggernaut disrupts the flow, which I know that Treyarch wants. They keep preaching about disrupting flow and not having like spawn traps and spawn locks, and I get that, but at the same time though, I would like consistency in the game. I like having pure chaos all the time is not fun. It's only good in controlled bursts. So like, you gotta find out some way to make the body armor not a must run, but also not completely useless. So what I would suggest, in my opinion, for the body armor is make it a streak. Think about it this way: the body armor, people like using it. You know, people think that it's fun to use. People think that it's, you know, very beneficial. It's kind of like, you know, Battery's kinetic armor, but I guess you could say it's for everybody, which is, I guess, why it doesn't work. Because in Black Ops 3, it was just for Battery, so you had to sacrifice a specialist for it. But in this game, pretty much anybody can use it. And, you know, I just kind of wish that, like, you know, it was maybe, like, something that, like, was a streak where, like, not everyone has it, or if they all do have it, they have to earn it, you know? And that 5-man Hellstorm missile was an awesome kill right there. Like, I love how in this game that there's no kill streak delay, actually. You can actually call in streaks at the very beginning of the round while people are capping the flag, and that can happen. So that was one of the best Hellstorm missiles I've had in the game, or just in general in like the whole history of the COD franchise. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I just thought I would point that out. But yeah, like the body armor, make it a kill streak, make it a score streak, make it like something like, I don't know, like 7 kills, so that way it's not too difficult to earn. You know, but still not, you know, something that you would get all the time. I'd say like 7 kills is fair. You know, kind of make it like the ballistic vest from Modern Warfare 3, but don't make it a support streak. That's not what I'm getting at, because then people will just run it as a support streak. Make it an actual kill streak where you can lose it if you die, and you know, that way you can continue to go on your streaks for your nuclears or your other streaks or whatever. Kind of almost make it like the UAV/advanced UAV of the game, but it will just give you health instead of awareness, because there's a lot of awareness-based stuff in here. So, like, make it a streak so that way people won't have it all the time. Either that or just, like, nerf it, just because, like, people are still using it. And plus, also, it had so many bugs. Like, originally it had toughness and flak jacket built into it. I don't know if you guys remember that, but the reason why it was so popular during the first weekend is because there was bugs where it was acting like flak jacket and toughness where you couldn't get killed by explosives, and you had reduced flinch, which was just annoying, so that's why it was a must-run. Alright, the next thing that I want to talk about here is a personal vendetta of mine, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys can agree with me. It's one gun in particular. I've had no problem with any of the other guns in this game. Even the snipers, like, to be honest, like with you, I don't really have a problem with the snipers in this game. I feel like the snipers are okay as of right now, but we'll see. But the main gun that I want to talk about here is the goddamn ABR. The ABR is that AUG-looking ass gun that is just like really, really OP. Okay, so like think about like the M8A7 from the beta, and then like put it on some like, you know, LSD, some meth, and some Adderall, and some other drugs, and then that's basically what you got for the ABR. It's a really over-the-top, stronger version of the M8A7. It's just really, really, really strong, and I don't like where it is because it's basically like the M16 from COD 4, but with like rapid fire on it, because you can shoot this thing really, really damn quick. And plus also there's even a weapon mod that eventually pretty much makes it full auto, so like you essentially have a full auto M16 and it will automatically just kill you in like one burst pretty much 24/7. So like you gotta nerf that Treyarch. Like that is really, really broken. The ABR is like really strong in terms of damage and in fire rate. So what I would say is nerf the fire rate and the damage, or just at least nerf one. I would say maybe like nerf the fire rate first, just because then that way people can still be a marksman with it. Because technically it's a marksman rifle and not a assault rifle. You know, it's in its own class, kind of like in the marksman rifle category from Ghosts. And I just think that what should happen was, you know, with it is that they should nerf the fire rate and make it really, really slow, so you actually have to be a actual marksman instead of running around like it's a submachine gun, and that way you have to like stay back and you know pick your shots one at a time, or just like make the damage like really, really bad, so that way people don't spam it. Because if it shoots really quick, then it's gotta do no damage basically. Because you can't have high fire rate and high damage, otherwise you just get deleted, and you already get deleted in this game due to the health. So please nerf the ABR by either slowing down the fire rate or weakening its damage, or maybe even both, like not necessarily a severe fire rate or damage nerf, just tweak both of them so that way it's kind of more, you know, in line with all the other guns. Because all the other guns for the most part are fine, and they only excel at like certain situations. The ABR, it's not like it excels only at long range, it excels every range, so like please just nerf it. I really don't want to see this anymore. It's getting on my nerves. Alright, so now let's talk about the next thing that I want to talk about. And this is already getting addressed, but it's just for future reference and just in case. The Fog of War mini-map mechanic. Okay, so this is going to be already getting addressed. Treyarch has already announced that they're going to be tweaking this. Originally, in the beta, you had a 360 HUD, basically where, like, imagine, like, I believe this is an example of something like from Gears of War. When you look at the mini-map, you kind of almost have, like, this, you know, circular 360-degree bubble around you, and also your teammates. And it kind of acts like the SATCOM from Ghosts, where if someone's in your line of sight, a red dot will appear. Even if they're not shooting, even if they're not doing anything, and this even counts if they're directly behind you. So, essentially, if somebody's just within that circle, you're gonna, you know, have them appear on the minimap. Which, in hindsight, is good because it makes it so that way you don't get shot in the back. But, the way that COD players play is that everyone always tries to flank each other. So what this ends up doing is that instead of people just shooting each other in the back, they try to shoot you in the back, and then they just get insta-deleted, so you can't flank. So it ruins the flanking mechanics of the game. So what they're doing to patch this is they're making it so that way it's only within, like, you know, in front of you, like a little cone area, kind of like, you know, Gears of War, instead of being the whole 360 degrees, because the whole 360 degree idea is only good in hindsight, but in actual practice, all it does is make it where people can never flank, because the moment you get behind somebody within range, you die. They turn around, they insta-melt you. It's like having an advanced UAV or a VSAT up. It's ridiculous. You especially can't knife this way. So what they're going to be doing is they're making it so that way it's only in front of you, and that way you can't, like, see through walls, because it's technically affected, I guess, through walls. Kind of like Sixth Sense, almost. Plus, that was Sixth Sense, the tracking, dart, and recon. Like, it just made it basically impossible for you to flank. But they're fixing it, so what I'm suggesting here is that keep that for now, but if need be, just take the whole entire Fog of War mechanic and just put it into Team Link. Because Team Link is getting the 360 degree bubble thing effect now, instead of being by default, Team Link's actually useful. But if need be, if it gets worse, please put that, you know, Fog of War ability in general in Team Link. Maybe make Team Link, you know, a little bit more desirable that way, and we'll just see where it goes from there. Alright guys, and now the last thing I want to talk about for the beta review here is the Specialists. Now the Specialists, I don't particularly have a problem with them. I just think that they need a rework. The ones in Black Ops 3 were completely fine with me. I'm not against the idea of Specialists. I think they're cool, I think they're fun, I think they're, you know, cool to use. But the ones in Black Ops 3, you know, were balanced and fun and enjoyable. The ones in Black Ops 4 feel niche, you know, tedious, and kind of almost a little bit, you know, weak or OP in certain areas. So let's talk about this. So there's a couple of specialists that I feel like were really, really underwhelming and just weren't worth using, and there's some that I think were really annoying, even though they weren't particularly OP, and there was just some that were flat out OP. So let's talk about things, you know, in kind of like the order that we just listed them here. Let's talk about bad specialists first. So some specialists that I would consider bad is Firebreak and Seraph. Their kits were amazing in Black Ops 3, but in Black Ops 4, I don't know what the deal is, but they just don't perform. Like, Black Ops 3's, you know, Seraph kit and Firebreak kit were really good because they were actually, you know, really, really high skill for the most part. Not everything was high skill about their kits, but they were high skill and rewarding, you know, weapons and abilities. In this game, they're kind of niche, and they're just frustrating to use. So let's talk about Seraph first. So Seraph's Annihilator did get a buff in this game compared to Black Ops 3, which is good, but it kind of makes it annoying because the way that they buffed her is that they made it so that way she doesn't have a fire rate cap on the Annihilator anymore. So originally in Black Ops 3, her Annihilator, you would shoot it, you would prime it back on the handle, then you could shoot again. In this game, they don't have a priming handle. You can just shoot endlessly, so you can go pop, 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 so you can rapid fire spam it, which is kind of annoying because it makes it so that way you have a insta-kill gun at all ranges, on all parts of the body, at max health, from any distance. And you can just spam that endlessly. Like, that is ridiculous. I don't like that. I really feel like there should be some form of, you know, cap on it. Not necessarily like Black Ops 3, but, like, in general, just so that way, when you shoot the damn gun, you can't go immediately fire another shot. Because the fact that it's an insta-kill at any part of the body, on any health, at any range, there needs to be some delay. Otherwise, it just can't work. It's just going to be broken, it's going to be annoying, it's going to be frustrating, and I don't like that. Then her TAC deploy beacon. This gets me more killed, you know, than it does actually get me kills. So the TAC deploy beacon is basically a team TAC insert, and this is her, you know, ability. Like, they got rid of the specialist abilities, and they just kind of have, like, the specialist gear or whatever that they have. And Seraph's is a TAC insert for all of her team, so that way you can, you know, choose a different type of spawn. Now, I like the idea of this, but in hindsight, it didn't really work out, because what it does is all it does is just get you spawn killed. You know, I get that's supposed to disrupt the flow and whatnot, but the team tack insert, all it does is make it where I spawn a high traffic area and die right away. And, you know, it's just very, very frustrating because I want to be in a safe spawn. I get that's her ability and it's supposed to be niche, but the fact that you can just place it anywhere and it affects you as a team, you know, it's annoying because if I want to spawn somewhere, I'm accidentally going to pick that because, like, no one's used to that yet, and you know, the UI is not really good for that. They should say something like, you know, on the minimap when you're about to choose your spawn, being like, you know, in bold. Like, I get they say it kind of like small, it's kind of obvious, but it needs to be like more obvious. It's saying like, a team tack insert, place down, choose to spawn here with, you know, whatever button, or you know, choose to skip it. You know, because it's annoying how that I can just by default from COD logic just spam X and respawn because I'm used to it, and then I spawn on attack insert with all my team, and then I get 5-manned. It's just ridiculous. And then Firebreak, his kit's annoying just because they nerfed it really to the ground. The Purifier, they tweaked that too. So instead of making an insta-kill with short range, they made a long-range gun where you can almost be, you know, hit by it a little bit. So the Purifier in Black Ops 3, what it did is that as soon as you got hit by it, immediately you were on fire and dead. And you couldn't escape it unless you were like on fire and you somehow jumped in the water. But in this game, what they did is that they made it so that way it's got longer range, so it can reach from really, really far away, but you do have a surviving chance. If you don't get dosed in it, you're fine. If you get nicked by it, you're okay. But if the thing is, though, is that what it does is that it makes it that way, if you're in a close range engagement, it makes it that way you just get lasered, because you don't really have a lot of health in this game. I know you have 150 health and not 100, so technically you have more, but you get melted due to the you know, the way the guns are, so it feels like you have no health. But the fact that you change range for damage makes the Purifier very, very tedious. If you get close, you know, you can't really do anything because all you do is just tickle the enemies, and their guns, since they shoot faster than the Purifier, they can melt you quicker. Kind of funny how that works. You have a flamethrower, and yet you get melted more. So since the guns like the Spitfire shoot ridiculously fast, and yours does damage over time, even though it is very high damage in comparison, you know, if you don't kill them right away, they're just going to kill you just because they can lay out so much damage. So, like, give it the ability to insta-kill again, just take away the range like it was back in Black Ops 3, because at least then it was not annoying. And you didn't even change it in Black Ops 3. I don't think the Purifier ever caught a nerf, so I think you guys can agree that it should just go back to the way it was then. And then the Radiation Core thing, his ability, that really is just too tedious for me. I feel like that it's way too niche. The Reactive Core, all it does is make it so that way you can block off choke points in objective-based game modes, but in like TDM, for example, the thing is useless because everyone will go to the flags and Dom, and then you can just, you know, do it behind a wall and then kill people that way. But in like TDM, if you want to like try to predict where someone's going to be, you're gonna have to like listen for footsteps, because you can just assume, you know, blah blah blah, someone's gonna be at B flag or whatever, and then you can wait for them and then hide, and then you can use the Reactive Core. In TDM, you don't know where everyone's going to be, you don't know how many people are going to be in a certain area or whatever. You can kind of predict that with objective game modes, but can't in like TDM. And so when you find somebody, if you try to just Reactor Core instead, just shoot them, all you're going to do is just leave yourself exposed because you sacrifice your health using this ability, and you can't use your guns, you can't do anything. So literally you're just relying on the ability, and everyone will just like spray and pray on you, or they'll just leave, and it's not really good then if people just, you know, do one or the other. So it needs to be buffed in some sort of way. Make it so that way, I don't know, you get slowed down more, kind of like how the Heat Wave ability used to work. Because I feel like people just avoid it, and it's not really good then, and it's just way too niche. Some specialists that I would consider annoying was like Torque, for example. He reminds me really, really a lot of the stereotypical COD player. I feel like that's what this kit was sort of made for. Having the barbed wire and then the, you know, the microwave turret ride shield thing. I get that's supposed to be kind of like a playstyle, but we don't want to encourage annoying playstyles here, because keep in mind that, you know, in like the other game modes, you can have up to 2 of a kind specialists with 6 players. So if you have like 2 Torques and like, let's say maybe a recon and then a crash, and then like, well, actually let's just say we have 2 Torques, 2 recons, and 2 crash. That's even better. I'm trying to think of the most annoying scenario here. Why not? If you have like, let's say 2 recons, 2 crashes, and 2 Torques, the 2 Torques will camp, and the recons and the crashes will join them, power buffing them and making it where you can see people. So imagine a room where there's 2 guys with microwave turret ride shields, where you can only see their head and you get insta-killed when you either get around the corner and they shoot you, or the microwave gets you. They have barbed wire so you can't hop over it. And they also have it so that way they can see you do this sensor beacon and also Recon's vision pulse, and they have extra health even if you do lay a shot into them. That's why I'm worried about these situations, because people in the COD community will abuse something until it gets fixed, and you know this damn well if you've played COD. So hopefully they can fix something like Torque and Recon and all these combos, like make it so certain characters I guess can't combo, or they just nerf them for other modes, or just nerf them in certain modes. You don't have to nerf them across all modes, just make them balance for certain modes, make like certain ones take longer to earn, or like just certain characters can't combo with another, you know what I mean? That's just kind of how I feel like it should work. And then some specialists that I felt like were kind of OP and were more of like must runs was like, for example, Recon, Crash, Ruin, and Battery, like those four in particular, because Ruin's kit, like it's just really annoying, I guess you could say, more than anything. It's not necessarily OP, but I feel like that once people get their hands on the full game, you know, and the actual casual people play the game, that's going to be way too, you know, common. Because keep in mind, this was a private beta, so you had to either pre-order the game or get a beta code from somewhere. So there's most likely no casual people that are playing this beta. So if we do play the actual full game and the casuals get their hands on it, you know, you can play Ruin whenever you want. It's not based off of rank. So I feel like what people are going to do is they're going to pick Ruin and they're just going to use it and just try to like spam the grappling hook and the gravity spike combo. And that's not necessarily a problem every now and then, but if you have two of a kind, you know, specialists, you know, adding them together like that's going to be annoying. Imagine two Ruins constantly grappling hooking after you and insta-killing you with the gravity spikes, because the gravity spikes, they're an insta-kill, you can't really avoid them. And then the grappling hook counts as advanced movement in my eyes, starting to get more like that. I know the game is boots on the ground, that's really the only advanced movement, but keep in mind is that like nobody likes any form of advanced movement. Black Ops 3 was for the most part boots on the ground, people still considered it exo jumping COD. So I really hope that what they do is that they make that way the grappling hook cooldown is longer, because you can get the grappling hook way too damn quick. So that way people aren't just spamming it 24/7 to be mobile, getting above your head, because the bunny hopping was a problem already. Just in the first weekend, people were already trying to take advantage of that like it was an exosuit. You know, so I really hope they tune down the grappling hook so that way it's not as annoying. And then same thing, you know, with the gravity spikes. Makes that way if you grappling hook, the gravity spikes have less range or whatever. And then like Battery, her grenade probably could use some damage, nerfing. Not necessarily the new 2 because that's niche. And the grenades don't detonate right away, it looks like. And then Crash maybe makes that way when he gives the health buff, your gun's glowing yellow, like how Recon's make sure it glows red when you're being seen. And then Recon's sensor darts just take longer already on top of what it is, because just being able to know where someone is from long range is just annoying. But anyways, guys, this is today's video. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts and opinions on Black Ops 4. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are about it down below in the comments. Anyways, guys, this is today's video. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you all in the next one. Peace.